This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, March the 29th. Please stand for our invocation led by Reverend David Edwards, People United to Advance the Dream, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence following the pledge.
Let us pray. Lord Jesus, today we humbly ask you to be with us, to guide us, and to bless us. Father, we thank you for this council, this leadership, this city. We thank you for the hearts and minds that's designed to do the will of the people. We thank you that, God, you said that you've not given us the spirit of fear. So we cast down all fear, doubt, and unbelief. We thank you that you said all things were possible to them that believe. So we believe that we will succeed in everything we do. Give us a heart and a mind to serve you in all that we do. Let the decisions be those that you give. God, we thank you. And we'll give your name all the praise, honor, and glory for it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll ask everyone to please remain standing for a moment of silence. Ms. Gregory.
Yes, if you would, I would like for you all to please bow your heads for a moment of silent prayer in memory of Ms. Hattie McCants. Ms. Hattie died on Sunday, March 27th. She was a retiree of the University of South Alabama. She was a faithful member of the Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. She was also a very strong advocate for improvement of her community, which is Mobile Terrace. Ms. McCants participated in numerous community programs throughout the city and was the recipient of awards and certificates of appreciation from various organizations, including the Mayor's Transition Task Force, the University of South Alabama Office of Minority Student Affairs, Kids and Kin Program, and Providence Hospital Senior Center. The Mobile Terrace Park, as you may know, is named for her. It's McCants Chavers Park in honor of the work that she did to lead the drive to annex Mobile Terrace into the city of Mobile. Ms. Hattie leaves behind 8 children, a number of grandchildren, great-grands, and a host of nieces, nephews, and other relatives and friends. Ms. Hattie will be buried Saturday at 11 o'clock at the Friendship Missionary Baptist Church on Cody Road. So if you would, a moment of silent prayer.
Roll call. President Small.
Here.
Vice President Gregory.
Here.
Councilmember Penn.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Councilmember Reynolds.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Statement of rules.
And good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah, welcome to our March 29th meeting. At this meeting, we do have several rules. First, I ask if anyone have any type of electronic device. At this time, I ask you to put it on the off or the vibrate position. The off or the vibrate position. Any person desiring to address the council must sign in indicating the resolution, the ordinance, appeal, a public hearing, agenda item before entering the meeting. When addressing the council, the speaker must state his or her name and address. Any person desiring to speak to the council on a non-agenda item must contact the city clerk office no later than 2:00 p.m. the Thursday prior to the council meeting. The subject that he or she wishes to address must be identified and pertain to the city of Mobile business. Any person who has not given proper notice to the city clerk office and wishes to speak on a non-agenda item would not be allowed to address the council. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to address the council. A bell will sound to indicate the end of 2 minutes. 1 minute remains for summarizing. The second bell indicates the time has expired. When addressing the council, there is to be no personal address to any individual council member. All statements are to be made to the chair, who will recognize any council member who is willing to address and to respond. To maintain decorum, there would be no undue applause and or public outcry allowed. Madam City Clerk.
Approval of minutes from March the 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Communications from the mayor.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good
Morning.
to see everybody this morning. Appreciate you being here. I have several announcements. My first one has to do with compensation adjustments that we announced earlier this morning. Secondly, I will then make a presentation of a proclamation to the National Minority Health regarding National Minority Health Month. Then Captain Snowden will address the city Employee of the Month in Administrative Services. And following that, we will talk about girls basketball. Maybe we should start with girls. No, seriously. So earlier this morning, in a communication, what we call an all-city email, I sent out an announcement talking about that we were making some compensation adjustments. And I would like to remind you that since 2013, upon being elected, we have worked diligently to pay competitive wages for all of our employees. After 6 citywide raises and additional longevity and pay adjustments for first responders over the last 8 years, we know that we are still not paying competitive pay in certain categories. And we believe that all of our employees, regardless of their job qualification, should be compensated in a manner that's commensurate with their job skills. Labor shortages and the rapidly changing economic environment have created uncharted waters. I'm almost 70 years old, and I can tell you that never in the 70 years, except for a period of time in the 1970s when we dealt with inflation, but we never dealt with inflation and a worker shortage. So really, not only is the city in uncharted waters, every government entity and all businesses are scrambling to find employees and to make sure that they're paying proper wages. It was with recognition of this that after the Personnel Board's Supervisory Committee meeting in January, on January 18th, that the board engaged the University of South Alabama to do a regional compensation survey. That survey, once completed, will serve as kind of the first step toward the city's analysis on moving forward. Additionally, at the request of Fire Chief Jeremy Lamy, the City of Mobile will engage a third-party consultant for a more comprehensive pay analysis for the city's classifications. Most recently, at the beginning of the fiscal year 2022, we gave a 5% cost of living adjustment to all employees. But again, because of the rising cost due to inflation, we decided to provide another immediate 2.5% cost of living adjustment citywide effective April 9th. Following that step, we will increase our minimum entry-level wage from $11.89 an hour to $15.22 an hour. That will be effective April 23rd. Additionally, as we're preparing the budget for 2023, as we're trying to forecast the 2023 budget, at this point in time, we're proposing a minimum of a 2.5% merit raise for that budget. This will be the first time in 15 years that we will have given a merit raise. So the message is that the City of Mobile recognizes that we're here to serve the citizens and that we've got to have qualified, competent, passionate employees to do that. And we are working diligently to make sure that their work environment and their pay will be such that they will want to stay with the City of Mobile so they can provide you the services that you hope to get. I want to thank the City Council for their support in supporting this. We reached out to them last night and early this morning about that. But I remain tremendously grateful for all the hard work that all of our city employees continue to do day in and day out. So again, I'll close with this, and I hope all city employees realize this, and that is that we think that all the city employees, that every one of them deserves competitive pay, and we are taking appropriate actions to make sure that we do that. So at this time, I'd like to read a proclamation regarding National Minority Health Month. And if you would please come to the podium, I will read the proclamation, and then we'll have to take a picture. And those coming to the podium will be Dr. Stephanie Woods Crawford. She's the Director in Prevention and Wellness. Pebbles King, the Director of the Bureau of Community and Nutrition Services. Mark Bryant, Public Information Officer. Melissa McKnight, the Health Equity Officer, Senior Program Administrator. Sharita Anderson, Health Equity Office Program Administrator, Support Specialist. Skandin Anaskar, Health Equity Office Outreach Educator. Skandin, I hope I'm not the first person that's had a challenge with that name. Okay. And then there's also Sequoia Cheney, the Health Equity Officer Outreach Educator. I'm not sure who all is here, but the proclamation reads, whereas National Minority Health Month is an inclusive effort to recognize and raise awareness of the unique needs, challenges, disparities facing Blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, Asian American, and Pacific Islander, Indigenous, and all communities of color, and to encourage actions through health education, early detection, and control of disease complications. And whereas implementation of these policies, practices, surveillance, and research should include a focus on achieving health equity that addresses the social, economic, and environmental determinants that drive persistent racial and ethnic health disparities and health inequities. And whereas this year's National Minority Health Month theme, Give your community a boost, highlights the continued importance of COVID-19 vaccination, including boosters, as one of the strongest tools we must utilize to end the COVID-19 pandemic that has been disproportionately affected communities of color. Now, therefore, I, William S. Stimson, the 108th Mayor of the City of Mobile, do hereby formally recognize the month of April as National Minority Health Month in the City of Mobile. Congratulations, and I'm going to come present this to one of you, and then y'all have an opportunity to address the council. So much for social distancing. So who would like to make some remarks?
I'd be happy to,
Okay.
yeah. My name is Melissa McKnight, and I'm the Health Equity Officer for the Mobile County Health Department's Health Equity Office. And I want to start by thanking the City Council for declaring this April as National Minority Health Month. We are very honored that you took the time to do this and to recognize the disparities that communities of color in Mobile County are experiencing. The Health Equity Office, is of course, with the Mobile County Health Department, have been working diligently to address these initiatives to make sure that communities of color are able to receive and to achieve their highest form of health. And we look forward to continuing this conversation with you guys, with other stakeholders in our community, to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to achieve their highest health possible. So again, thank you on behalf of the Health Equity Office and also on behalf of the Mobile County Health Department. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So earlier this year, the Mobile Parks and Rec Department girls basketball teams from our Parks and Rec League launched the very first girls basketball league. And Shonda Smith, I think she and her team had a whole lot to do with that. And so I'm going to call on Shonda if she would make announcements regarding girls basketball.
Good morning. So I think we started off this season begging for girls to come. William Carroll and Corey Penn, we were all up here saying we need girls basketball team. We were able to pull 11 teams this year. This was our first time doing a girls basketball team league to actually separate it from the boys, and we had the boys here last week. I want to bring up our first team, but this is our only team represented today, but everyone else were invited. We have the Bush Black champs, so I want you ladies to please stand up and come over here to the front. Let's give them a hand. You all, they won the 10 and under champions this year. Here. So this was the 10 and under black team that is representing the Boys and Girls Club as well. So let's give them another hand. You keep coming across. Keep them coming across. The other team was for the 12 and under champions, and that was Kid Park High Point, who won as well. So let's give them a hand. They're not here today, but let's give them a hand. If you didn't get an opportunity to get out to see these young ladies play, you missed it. And I want you to get out next year to see them playing hard. If you're watching March Madness, the ladies are really representing. And so I want to thank you all for coming and playing in the league, but I hope you keep playing and keep playing other sports. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Penn.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Let's give a big hand again for the Kiwanis Boys and Girls Club, the Lady Bengals. This month represents Women's Month, National Women's Month. And I think, this is pretty amazing to have the young ladies here representing basketball. I'm so proud of these particular young ladies. If you don't know, I am the director at the Kiwanis Boys and Girls Club, so I always tell you I like to win, right? But it's more than winning. These young ladies are smart, they're intelligent, they love music, they love dance, they love beating me too. They like to play me in sports, and we have a great time. But what the amazing thing about it is, a lot of, when I had the opportunity to become the city council, they never met elected official, but now they're here. They know about the 3 branches of government now. They want to learn, and some of them even want to run for office. I don't know if that's a good, I'm just playing. We want them to run. So it's exciting to have them here. So Kiwanis Boys and Girls Club, I want to thank you so much. And to the parents, man, the parents brought them out. I have some amazing parents. And then I also want to give the shout out to the best coach in the world, Coach Carlos. She's been working with kids for over 30 plus years. So thank you, Coach Carlos, for everything that you are doing. And thank you, Kiwanis Boys and Girls Club.
Mr. President, I would love to make a few comments. I see Coach Carlos chuckling. Coach Carlos has been an adversarial coach to me for 26 years? I'm still proud to say, Carlos, you still hadn't got me yet. But I've got to commend Coach Carlos and the Bengals from this Optimist Club. Over the years, she's had some really talented girls' teams. Some of them you may remember. Nala Shepherd, who's now playing in college. Sonola Mixon. Ashanti, who's playing in Mississippi. Ashanti, can't remember her last name right now, but she's had some tremendous talent that she's taught and mentored over the years and gotten them to a point to where they're young ladies that not just understand the game, but understand life and her life lessons. But the one thing I remember about Coach Carlos, when you knew you were about to be in trouble, and y'all all know that sentence, right? Everybody gets somebody. Everybody gets somebody. And it rings throughout the gym when she says it. And when she says it, the girls understand that it's time to bear down and to do those things that it's necessary to be successful. So again, to Coach Carlos, congratulations. To the girls on this team, extreme congratulations. Remember how it feels. It's nothing better than being state champions. Congratulations.
So,
Mr. President.
Coach, if you and your team would like to go ahead and exit, I would imagine y'all would probably want to leave, unless you're welcome to stay for the rest of the city council meeting. You'll learn a whole lot. Y'all can go. Thank you very much for being here. And at this time, as y'all are making your way out, Captain Snow and Joe, would you make your way slowly to the podium and make your presentation? So let's just hold just for a second, Joe, until they...
Before the ladies leave, I just wanted to say congratulations. When they came upstairs to the council floor, Councilman Penn introduced me to the ladies team as the only lady on the city council. So a very big shout out to these ladies. Congratulations. And Sabrina, I heard you saying, yes, go girls. So, all right, cool. All right. So congratulations, ladies. We're happy to see you here, and just keep on playing and keep winning. We love to see you down here. Yeah, go girls.
Hey, Joe.
Okay. Well, good morning. We're pleased to announce our Administrative Services Employee of the Month for February, Casey Yamane. He's been vital to the Animal Services team and was very crucial as we transitioned and we received our new director. But to speak more about what he's accomplished, I'll have Allie, the director herself, explain what some of the great things he's done.
Good morning. I was really pleased to recommend Casey for the Admin Services Employee of the Month because he's been with the city almost 14 years now, and that is just a tremendous amount of public service, and he works really hard, and I've grown to really appreciate him since I took over as director and learned how much he's really given to the city. He's the utmost professional. He handles a lot of the really difficult cases that we see at Animal Services, like, bite calls and things like that. When a child gets bitten, we don't often think about who goes out and responds to that kind of things. That is Casey. But even more so, we brought on a lot of new animal control officers, and Casey has stepped up to the plate as an amazing mentor for all of them. They ride along with him, he trains them, and he is that quintessential dog whisperer that aggressive dogs that, are getting called about, he can crouch down and call them like babies over to him and de-escalate things. And he just has a skill set that needs to be appreciated. So I'm really glad that I can get him some recognition for his nearly 14 years of service to this city. So,
Congratulations. So, Council President, I'd like to just remind you that I've got to leave at about really 20 till, and Joe Snowden and I will be going to a luncheon. And I think the media may want to visit with us as we go out the door, so I'll be leaving about 20 till 12. And that concludes my remarks. Thank you very much.
Monthly finance reports.
Ms.
Oh, I'm
Carol,
sorry.
yeah.
We have a presentation. Councilmember.
Good morning again. I have a proclamation. Is Cooper Hamilton here? Whereas today we recognize the selfless dedication of Youth Leadership Mobile participant Cooper Hamilton and honoring the memory of his mother, Robin Hamilton. Whereas Cooper is a 17-year-old McGill-Tulane student who worked tirelessly to complete his project in honoring his mother, Robin, who suddenly passed in October 2021. Whereas Robin worked as a social worker at the USA Health Children and Women Hospital and an advocate for families of prematurely born babies whose family may not be prepared to purchase a car seat at the time of the early birth. She suggested that car seat collections for his project and worked on it with him until her last days. And whereas in memory of his mother, Cooper, who set out to collect 25 car seats to donate for his project, he unexpectedly received a check for $10,000. allowing him to purchase over 100 car seats. And whereas the car seats have been purchased and dropped off at the hospital and will be distributed as a needed basis. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Mobile City Council, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, March 29, 2022, as Cooper Hamilton Day in Mobile, and urge all citizens to join in praising the honorable actions of this outstanding citizen and preserving the legacy of his mother, Robin. Let's give him a big hand.
I just want to say thank you for recognizing me for this. I didn't think that would get this big, but I just want to say thank you.
Good morning, Council, Mayor. My name is Brittany Galliano, and I am the Youth Leadership Mobile Coordinator for the program. And I just really, truly want to commend Cooper on his good work during a really, really, what I can only imagine is a truly tough time in their life for their family. So much good came out of it, and so much good will continue to come out of it. And so on behalf of our staff and our board of directors at Mobile United, I want to thank you guys. And again, I want to give Cooper a round of applause for such a job well done.
I would like to say to you, Cooper, congratulations for showing that young people can lead the way by doing great things in the community. Keep doing the great things and showing the way for others can follow your footsteps and everything. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd ask Ms. Posey, Ms. Harmon to come down. Tomorrow is the National Doctors Day, and we have an organization in the city called the Alliance Club of Mobile, who is made up of spouses, the ones that stand behind all the doctors. Obviously, that's the best part of them, right? And it's about 120 members strong. They come together as an organization to raise money to organizations, charities within the city, such as the Ronald McDonald House, Camp Arapahoe, and others. So today I've got a proclamation to read to honor your organization as we head towards National Doctors Day. Proclamation reads, whereas the Alliance to the Medical Society of Mobile is a network of spouses of physicians that believe in taking action with urgency in order to improve the health and quality of life of people in our community who need it the most. And whereas the Alliance provides a variety of outreach initiatives, educational programs, and charitable endeavors, and whereas they offer a wonderful support system for physician spouses through informal, fun social gathering that provide members to meet one another, make new friends, and share common interests. And whereas the Alliance supports organizations such as Camp Arapahoe, Penelope House, Dumas Wesley, Village of Spring Hill, Drug Education Council, as well as many other organizations throughout our community, therefore we, the City Council of Mobile, do hereby proclaim March 29th, 2022 as Alliance to the Medical Society of Mobile County Day in Mobile, and urge all of our citizens to join in recognizing this wonderful organization, wishing them continued success in the improvement of the community. Down at the City of Mobile, this 29th day of March, 2022.
On behalf of the Alliance to the Medical Society of Mobile, we would just like to thank the City Council for your support. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Monthly finance report.
Morning, Mr. President. Good morning. And good morning, Council. I'd like to give you an update for the city so far year to date. So far year to date has been a pretty good year. Sales tax revenue, $80 million so far this year, and which is about $7 million better than what we had expected. That's really kind of quite an accomplishment when you think about last year was a record year for us, and we were a little bit uncertain how this year would turn out, but nevertheless, it still seems to be moving in the right direction. Total revenue for the year so far for the first 5 months, $154 million against a budget of $140 million, so we're about $13 million ahead of budget, and that's another surprise. Although our business licenses, as I think I mentioned last month, were significantly higher than they had been in the previous year. Our cost, this is another area that has surprised me a little bit. Public safety is about $6 million under budget, spending less than what was in the budget. Public works, pretty much the same, about 6.3. And overall, for all cost centers, the city's about $19 million better than budget. So between the positive variance on the two categories of cost and revenue, we've had a pretty good year so far. Total earnings for the year, $31 million, and our budget surplus this year is right up now at about $159 million. Keep in mind, though, we got a couple of months that we do set aside for contingencies or emergencies. I kind of I try to watch what's going on out there. Every time I come, I say inflation's kind of gone up to a new record. I'd say inflation today is close to about 8%. That's higher than it was last month and the previous month. So that's something we have to continue to watch because it affects really just about everything that we do. It affects the lives of our people. It affects the public works people and their bidding for work. And so it's something that's going to affect us and continue to affect us for some time. The GDP still around 2%, not much change from where it has been. And, for those of you who have 401ks or watch the market, it did recover a little bit, but it's still down about 5% from where it was at the end of the year. So overall, I'd say we're off to a good start. This month, we'll have an extraordinary expense that we don't report every month, and that will be the pension contribution that we have every year, and we'll see that hit. Although, looking at preliminary numbers for March, our revenues, one spot through the state, are ahead of what we projected, and our expenses seem to be a little bit lower than what we projected. Last year, we lost about $12 million in March, and I'm not sure how we're going to do this year, but I think we're in a better position than we were last year. So, any questions?
Mr. Davis?
Thank you for your report, Mr. Holt. Do you happen to know off the top of your head what the current unfunded liability in the police and firefighter pension plan is?
Yeah, we got to remember it's in arrears.
Right.
So it goes back to 2020, September 2020. And it's about 70 million.
Okay, well, significant progress has been made because I remember when I joined the council, it was in the 100 million range, and we've been amortizing it, and my recollection is that from prior discussions is that the amortization payment gets bigger every year, the commitment we made some time ago. Right?
It has been pretty big, but, we have an obligation to pay it full by 2026, I believe. And, but, we also have a couple things going in our favor right now, and that is the market.
Right.
Was hugely in our favor this past year.
Right.
And I think when we see the calculation for 2021 this coming September, we're going to see another significant improvement in the liability.
This is not particularly, what I'm about to say is not particularly related to your report, but I wanted to say it while the mayor and Chief of Staff Barber and you were all here, and that is that I was delighted to get the letter that the mayor sent to all city employees this morning, and particularly delighted that we'll be moving ahead on compensation studies to determine where we are in terms of paying a competitive salary to all of our employees. I've been a proponent of that since I joined the council. I think that as we consider merit raises going forward, that's a critical component because otherwise we're just we're just acting in the dark. We think we know that our employees are underpaid from a competitive standpoint, but and they probably are, but we don't know by how much in each job classification. And it's complicated. You have the different job classifications, you have the different tenures, skill sets, all that kind of thing. But I think that this is an important step forward in letting us know where we fall short in terms of paying our employees a competitive salary, who those employees, and then we can figure out how we're going to get to where we need to go. But anyway, for the mayor and Chief of Staff Barber and you, I'd like to commend you for moving forward in that method. Thank you.
And I would just like to say, too, the credit really rests with the individuals leading the city. I'm kind of the bean counter, and I support it. But, the idea and the initiative to get it going rests with the leadership of the city.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'd like to echo those thoughts and comments by my colleague regarding the promotion. I think, and thanks for your insight into the business report month over month and your background, Bob. It gives us a lot of information that we need. One question for you: with the revenue increases that we're seeing, is it a true statement that a large percentage of those over allotments that we're seeing are based off of personnel shortages within the city?
From the cost standpoint, yes. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, so, it's good to see that we're addressing that. I think, there comes a point in time when you start looking at personnel shortages, we can get by, but it comes on the backs of those that's doing twice the workload. And I think many of us have been in that position before, and it's not an enjoyable place to be. So, kudos to the mayor and chief of staff and the others that have put this together to try and address that. I think it is definitely a need that we need to look at as we right the ship with personnel pay in the city. So thank you.
One last point you might be interested in. A couple of weeks ago, there was a lot of attention on fuel prices. And a couple of you all asked me, what does it mean? And ironically, since that time, it's more or less stayed kind of flat, but flat at a high level. We did sort of an analysis on it, and just to kind of see just what this would mean to us if it continued on this way. And we had a worst case scenario when prices were going to be higher than where they are today. We figured that our worst case scenario would mean we would have $2.5 million in additional costs. And the other question was, do you think we can absorb it? And I think, well, based on the results that I think I just passed on, you can see that even in a worst case scenario, we'd be able to absorb that additional fuel increase. But surprisingly, it really hasn't moved too much for the last several weeks. Maybe, hopefully, it won't.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Carroll.
Thank you. In listening to your numbers today, is it okay to surmise that we have $119 million of unbudgeted revenue right now?
You mean
that's after
the 47?
Yes.
That's roughly the right number. Yeah.
So we have $119 million of unbudgeted revenue that we could possibly use or direct to go to other projects. Yeah. Thank you.
And other council members? Thank you so much, Mr. Hope. Thank you.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Been properly moving second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda is adopted.
We have a request for a waiver of the noise ordinance on April the 16th in Langham Park from 2 p.m. until 6 p.m. and 12 p.m. until 6 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moving second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Ms. Gregory.
We had some discussion about noise waivers, in particular at parks, during our pre-conference meeting. And I'm going to ask Chris if you would help us better understand. We were talking about trying to make sure that the amplified sound doesn't go into neighborhoods. At Langham Park, I get complaints a lot from people who live in neighborhoods that back up to Langham Park, either backing up or even across Ziegler Boulevard from the park. sometimes they say they feel like they are at the park itself because it's so loud. So we were looking at a way to limit, if at all possible, that sound being limited to the park property itself. But in talking to some of my colleagues, I think we're not really able to specify that given what our ordinance is.
So with regards to residential, the ordinance, and it covers sound-making devices, and it also covers just loud, raucous noises in general, whether or not it's device-made or not. And during the daytime, or from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., the restrictions are plainly audible at 50 feet or more from any property line within a residential district, so R1 through R3, at their property line, or exceeding 85 decibels at that same property line. So it depends on where if there's a intervening property between the park and wherever the residential is, but if the property line of the residential is right at the park, making that restriction doesn't really do anything. And if it's not at the park, you're really making the ordinance more restrictive than it is. And I don't know that that's really feasible. It ought to be just, waive it or don't waive it. And if you want something different, then the ordinance could be amended to reflect whatever that might be. Might not be a bad idea to amend it just in general, to cover these waiver situations. Of course, when you start amending it, it starts going off the rails sometimes. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it.
Ms. Lambert, when people call in to get the waivers, are they just concerned because they will have amplified sound and just
Yes.
feel like they have to do it whether they will be exceeding the noise level or not?
Right.
Because during the daytime, we have a lot more flexibility with sound. And
It's because they have amplified sound.
they're just afraid that they will.
Right.
Well, I think maybe we need to look at this going forward just because of issues that we have all been experiencing in parks. But for today, I'll just go ahead and let these go since we're just talking about maybe making some changes.
Any further discussion?
Well, just
Mr.
one statement. Some years ago, and I can't remember how many years ago, a lot of the reasoning behind going past the line, if I remember, there was 2 big incidents. One involved the music box on Dolphin Street and vibratory noise and 0 lot lines. So, we have to remember that in Mobile, there are 5 districts that have 0 lot lines where properties can go all the way up to within 8 inches of the next door house. So that was the reasoning behind that language at the time. So that's where some of that comes from. So just in consideration, if you remember the issue with the music box because you were here with me, and you also remember the other neighborhoods that we had to deal with that. So that's where that language came from at the time, and that's why I keep brought it back when I did. But for whatever purposes, we need to stay within the legal right for at this point in time, and whenever we can make the proper adjustments, let's do it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Pass.
Public hearings today is a public hearing to consider a certificate of public convenience and necessity to Edwards Automotive doing business as Premier Transit to operate a sedan service.
Let's open up this particular public hearing. If anyone here to address us, you may do so now by coming down to the podium. If not, this public hearing is closed.
Public hearing to consider whether crediting of public funds to Gulf Quest serves a public purpose.
Let's open up this particular public hearing. If anyone here to address the council on this particular public hearing, you may do so now by addressing the council.
Good morning. My name is Clarissa Perkins. I reside at 659 South Bayou Street. I believe that's District 2 with William Carroll. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask you one question? Are you down to address this particular public hearing, or are you down to talk about the sidewalks?
It's about the sidewalk.
Okay, we're going to call your name.
Say it again.
We're going to call your name when it's time for that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Is anyone here to address the council on this particular public hearing? If not, this public hearing is closed.
Public hearing to declare the structures at 162 Hemley Avenue, 1103 Jamon Circle West, 967 South Dearborn Street, and 6401 Pinehurst Run, public nuisances, and ordering them demolished.
This open up this public hearing for the sale of properties. Is there anyone present would like to address the council? You may do so at this time by addressing us with your name and your address.
Council members, my name is Anthony Hoffman. My address is 1066 Grand Heron Court West in Mobile. I'm addressing you regarding property at 6401 Pinehurst Run. I'm the general administrator for Mobile County, and I was recently appointed as the administrator for the estate of Kay Vickers, which I have now learned owns that piece of property. And so I having just been appointed by a probate judge on this matter, I've located some documents that indicate that there is some insurance coverage for this property. I've submitted a claim for insurance on the property to try to get this remedied. I've also talked to various persons about potentially buying the property from the estate. So I am moving forward on trying to get this thing addressed as fast as I possibly can.
Mr. Scott Jones?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. What's our timeline on this, David, on this specific property?
Just to restate that, yes, we have 120 days by the time I send out the notice, which that is our starting date. So we have approximately 60 days until the council has to take some action, or I have to go back and send new notice. So yes, we have 60 days.
All right. Thank you for coming down and addressing us and giving us this information. Have you heard back from the insurance company, and have they put forth any timeline on when they're going to do an assessment?
I have not yet. I'm waiting for the claims adjuster to meet me out at the property.
Okay. Could you come back down here in 2 weeks and give us an update on this and sort of give us an idea of where we are at that point and what you're looking at as the executor of that estate?
Yes, I will do that if that's what the council wants.
All right. So, Mr. President, I just move that we just delay this for 2 weeks.
We'll lay this over for 2 weeks.
Roger.
As far as the vote. Okay. All right.
Thank
you. 2 weeks. Thank you. Is anyone else present that would like to address the council on the said properties? Yes.
Yes, my name is Gloria Atkins, and they had came out there.
Can I get your address?
162 Hemler Avenue. They had came out by the house, and well, I'm not staying there, but I do go by my house a lot and fix it. But it's somebody like had broke up in the house, and she kind of like she did set it up, but she left, and so now I had to fix it. But when she came, I hadn't did a lot, but I have done a lot. I got pictures and stuff like that. And I painted the outside, but I know I have to have a permit to do the work in the inside. So I need like a little more time, to do my inside. I did the outside to look real presentable,
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Penn, would you?
Yes, Mr. David, can you, so you're looking to get a permit?
Yeah.
All right, have you talked to and spoken to anyone about doing that?
No, I haven't talked to one about a permit, but I do have somebody that we are gonna do the work that is, that could do the work for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you connect with Mr. David? Can you connect? Mr. David, you raise your hand right there.
Oh, okay.
All right, he's gonna see you after, and then to assist you.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Penn, if you want to just lay this over for 60 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have 60 days, too, to make sure that things are moving in action, but it's going to come back before the council in 60 days and stuff. Okay? All right, thank you. If anyone else present for any of these said properties? If not, this public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Terry McAlpine Gaines.
Is Ms. Gaines present?
Taking so long. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
To Mayor Stimpson and the council and the administrative staff. My name is Terry McAlpine Gaines, and I'm just here to introduce a new business venture to the city.
Can I get your address?
Yes,
and
sir.
Also, just make sure you just stick with the topic that you signed up for.
It is the topic that I'm signed up for. My address is 2017 Sandalwood Drive, Mobile, Alabama 36618. Okay, great. And I'm just here to introduce a new business for the city of Mobile. We were licensed back in February. We have a current federal EIN as well as an LLC in the state of Alabama. And we were given a license through the county as well as through the city. The business is called Mobile Kayak Rental. And what we do is we own 20 kayaks that are for rent at 11 different waterways throughout the county. And we deliver to public boat and kayak. We deliver to public. Is everything okay? Okay.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to recess you for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.